Hello everyone. In this particular video, we will be discussing about a very popular sorting technique, that is bubble sort, which is used to sort a list of numbers either in ascending or descending order. So let us start. So over here, I have a list of 5 numbers and I need to sort the list in ascending order. Before starting, for simplicity, I'll give the index to each of these numbers. So 4 is present at index 0. 3 will be present at index 1, then 2, 3 and 4. So in bubble sort, what we do is we start with the first number and we compare the first number with the second number in the list. Since we are sorting the list in ascending order, so if the second number in the list is smaller than the first number in the list, we swap the two numbers, and like this we move forward in the list. So what we do is we compare the number at ith location in the list with the number at the I plus 1th location in the list. If the number at the I plus 1th location is smaller than the number at ith location, we swap. So in this case, if we see, we start with the number 4 and we compare it with the next element, which is 3. Since 3 is smaller than 4, what I'll do is I'll swap these two numbers. After swapping, my list will become 3, 4, 5, 6 and 2. Now I'll repeat the same thing. I started with the 0th index location. Now we'll move to the next index, that is 1. I'll compare this with the number at I plus 1th, that is the second index location. On comparing the ith location number with the I plus 1th location number, I'll see that since 5 is not smaller than 4, we will not swap the numbers and we will move ahead. So now I'll move to the second index location and I'll compare it with the third index location. So I'll compare 5 and 6. Again, 6 is not smaller than 5. So we'll move ahead and we'll move to the third index location and we'll compare it with the fourth index location. And therefore, we'll compare 6 and 2. Since 2 is smaller than 6, therefore, we will swap 6 and 2. So after swapping, the list will become 3, 4, 5, 2 and 6. So till now, we have traversed the entire list once. And now if we notice, we can observe that the largest number in the list, in this case it was 6. So the largest number in the list has been placed at the last position, which will be the correct position for this number. Therefore, now I need to sort just the remaining elements in the list, that is 3, 4, 5 and 2, because 6 is already in its correct position. So now we will repeat the same process for the remaining elements. So I call this my first iteration, and now the second iteration will become, the list that we have now is 3, 4, 5, 2 and then 6. Since 6 is already at its correct position, we will traverse only from 3 to 2. So again, I'll start with the first number and I'll compare it with the next number. Since 3 is smaller than 4, we will not swap and we'll move ahead. So now I'll compare 4 with 5. Again, since 4 is smaller than 5, I will not swap and I will move ahead. So now I'll move to 5 and I'll compare 5 with 2. Now, since 2 is smaller than 5, that is the number present at I plus 1th location is smaller than the number at ith location. Therefore, I will swap the two numbers. So now the list will become 3, 4, 2, 5 and 6. And therefore, this will be the output for the second iteration. Here we can observe that the second largest number in the list have been placed at its correct position, that is the second last position. So the last two numbers in the list are in the sorted position, whereas we need to sort the first three elements. We will repeat the same step again. So therefore, now we'll go for the third iteration. On repeating the same steps again, the output after the third iteration will be 3, 2, 4, 5 and 6. And over here, we can see that the last three numbers will be in the sorted position and the first two numbers we still have to sort. And now we'll have the final iteration to sort the list. Therefore, for the final iteration, I'll again compare the unsorted part. That is, I'll again compare the first number with the second number, and I'll swap the two numbers since the second number is smaller than the first number. Therefore, the output after the fourth iteration will be 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, which is my desired output. That is the sorted list. So this is how bubble sort works. Now let us see the Python implementation for the same. So this is a basic Python program for bubble sort. In this, we have defined a function named bubble sort. In this, we have an outer for loop for different iterations. This for loop will iterate in the range starting from length of the list -1 to 0. Inside this for loop, we have another for loop to traverse through the list. This inner for loop will iterate in the range of I. And inside this for loop, as we discussed, we will start from the first element of the list and we will compare the first number of the list with the next number of the list. If the first number is greater than the next number, that is, if the number at the jth location of the list is greater than the number at the j plus 1th location of the list, in that case, we will swap the two numbers and therefore we will traverse the entire list and we will repeat this until the list gets sorted. So to check this, I have defined a list of elements and now I will call the bubble sort function that I defined earlier and pass the list L inside this, and finally I'll print the sorted list. So now if I execute this, here we go. I can see that the list that I provided is sorted now. So this was the implementation for bubble sort. Now, another interesting way to swap the two elements in Python could be, instead of using the temporary variable, we can swap the numbers directly. That is, instead of this, I can write L of j, comma, L of j plus 1 equals to L of j plus 1, comma, L of j. So this is also an interesting way in which we can swap two numbers in Python. And now if I'll execute this, here we go. I got the same result, that is the sorted list. I hope you understood how bubble sort works. In case of any doubt, feel free to post your doubts in the comment section. If you like the video, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.